Okay. So in the last session, we tested journal creation through spreadsheet, ADFDI, FBDA, and foreign currency journal, data access set, as well as cross validation rules. Now, this we'll see later. We'll pick the topic called as security rules. The security rules, let's say SR, security rules. The security rules, we can create the rule which values are allowed, or you can say which are not allowed. Then system will understand which values need to be allowed. So we can say to give the permissions. To give the permissions, we define the security rule. This rule we map to specific user. So this rule we are going to map to specific user. So first we'll create security rule, assign security rule to role. We need to assign to specific role. After assigning to the specific role, just create separate user, or else with the existing user also we can test. The existing user we can test. We don't need to create separate user, not required. So create security rule and assign security rule to role. Ideally, the changes, the rules what we are creating, those will get synchronized. If the changes are not reflecting, you can deploy the accounting flex field. Create security rule, assign security rule to role, and deploy accounting flex field. Then we'll go to journal creation page to test the same. The security rule we can create against any segment values. The security rule we can create against any segment value. The rules we are going to assign to role. But when you talk about rule creation, the rule creation we create at value set level. Value set. The cross validation rules we are creating against the chart of accounts. The security rules we are going to create for specific value set. The value set level we are going to define the security rule. That rule we will assign to specific role, and we deploy accounting flex field. If required, you can deploy, or else ideally it should sync and work. And here another point is when you talk about assign security rule to role, create one custom role and assign. Create custom role. The rule need to be applicable for which users to assign to only those users you can use this role. You may copy the role and you can just provide some different naming convention. That's how you can create. You don't need to modify any role. And this rule is applicable for any application. It is not specific to one application. You may assign this rule to GL roles or AP roles or AR roles to any application you can assign based on the roles to your mapping. Accordingly, this will function. Now, we'll see how to create the role. We'll take example. We want to allow thousand BSV. You want to allow only 1000 BSV, or else you can set the rule you may set against the department. Allow department 1000. If you assign specific role to any user, that user will be able to access to only department 1000. You can choose any value set, you can set up this rule. We'll go with this example. Setup and maintenance. So we want to set a rule for department or say cost center. Now go to value set task. So task name is manage chart of accounts value sets. Click on the same task. Find the department value set. We are using the second one. So select value set. Click on edit. Click on edit. So click on edit. We are going to create SR security rule. Here is one checkbox. Security enable. If you want to create the security rule on this value set for the values what we have, within that you should enable the checkbox. So enable the checkbox and this tab will get enabled. Then we can enter into that and we can define the rule. Enable the checkbox and provide the name. Say I'm giving the name as any name, relevant name you can provide, or else say department SR. After entering the name, click on save. After entering the name, click on save. Then click on edit data security tab. Click on edit data security and click on plus icon. Click on plus icon. Under condition, click on plus icon. So what rule we want to create? Just give the name, allow department 1000. I guess we don't have values like 1000, only 3 digits, that you can say 100. The same you can take as a display name. And conditions. Under conditions, click on plus icon and column name. Select as a value. Operator you can select as, you want to say allow. That means equal to. If you say not equal to 100, remaining all the departments this rule will allow except 100. So we want to allow only 100. Say equal to. We have a different expressions based on the requirement. I'm selecting equal to And here, what are the values we have within the value set? Exactly, we have to provide the same. We cannot find the values from the drop down. So we are saying equal to 100, that only system will allow. Click on save. We are giving the name and display name. Column name we are selecting as a value. The operator is equal to, that means we are saying allow 100. Say save. So we created condition as allow 100 department. Now go to policy tab. Go to policy tab. Under policy tab, click on plus icon. Provide the same name. Select start date and click on role. The rule what we are creating, we need to associate to specific role. Now for testing purpose, we are going to use seeded role, but reality always we create custom role. We need to create the separate role, and to the custom role we assign this rule for which user, which security rule need to be applicable. Accordingly, that role we assign. So the secure rule is associated with that role. Accordingly, that user will get access. So always we create custom role to map this security rules. Now, click on plus icon. So you want to assign this rule to which role? So you want to assign this rule to role called as General Accounting Manager. I'm not typing the full role name. Select your application as a FSCM, Financials and SCM and other related applications. FSCM means Finance and Supply Chain Management applications. And click on search. Now, here look for General Accounting Manager role. Look for General Accounting Manager role. So General Accounting Manager, select the role and click on apply. Say okay. The role got selected. Now to this role, we are going to assign the rule. Go to rule tab. The rule, whatever we created, the rule related condition we have to select here. Only one rule we have, only one condition. The same select. Say okay. And click on save and close. Click on save and close. Say okay. So we created a rule and the rule we assign to role. And click on submit. Say okay. So ideally it will get synchronized. Now the role what we map with the rule, the same role is accessed by our current user. Our current user. So from this user, if you try to record the transaction, the secured rule will be applicable for this user since General Accounting Manager role is assigned to this user. Just log out and log in to check applicability. If it is not reflecting, we'll submit deployment for our chart of accounts, or you can say accounting flex field. Now go to journal creation page. Create journal. Try to create account code combination. Click on department drop down. Yes, we have all the departments accessible from this user. It is not reflecting. You submit deployment process, or else wait for some time. It is recommended to submit the deployment. The reason, within the chart of accounts, we have that value set. We have that value set. The rule should reflect. That is the reason. Just submit the deployment. Go to chart of account structures. Search. Deploy. It takes some time. Meantime, we'll pick another topic. So once deployment complete, we'll go and test the rule whether it is functioning or not. Okay, just only testing is pending. We'll see after deployment. So we'll pick another topic. Security rule and ledger set. The next item is ledger set. So ledger set means grouping multiple ledgers. Grouping multiple ledgers where we can use the ledger set while recording the transactions, opening the periods, and when you are closing the periods, and when you are generating the reports. The condition is the calendar and the chart of account should be same across the ledgers, so that those ledgers you can group into ledger set. So which ledgers, calendars, and the chart of accounts are same, those we can group into ledger set. Now we'll see what setups we are going to perform to create the ledger set, and the same how we can test it. So we'll create one more ledger. So create, we have USA primary ledger. Let's create UAE primary ledger. And make sure the calendar and the chart of account is same. Forget about it, reality same or not, the calendar is same or not. But for our example, to test this case, create any other country primary ledger with the same calendar and the chart of accounts. So after creating UAE primary ledger, we'll create one user who need access to ledger set. Create as ERP ledger set ls, assign GL roles, assign your, after creating primary ledger for UAE, we can create our ledger set immediately. We don't need to wait to complete all this. So just create UAE primary ledger, then create ledger set, then create user and assign GL roles and assign ledger set to user roles, and open the periods. Open periods for UAE primary ledger. Open the periods for UAE primary ledger, and while creating the journal, you can test how it would reflect. Even when you open the periods also, you can see how the ledger set is going to provision access to two ledgers for the same user. So this is what we are going to test. We'll go and create UAE primary ledger. Almost deployment completed. Let's wait for 2 minutes. We will test, then we'll proceed with ledger set concept. So as it got deployed, say OK. Sign out and sign in. So not required. Sometimes even it deployed, since the session is same, it may not reflect. That is the reason better you can sign out and sign in again. So go to journals. Go to task list. So create journal. So check department. So we create a rule called as allow only 100. So this user is able to access to 100. How? Because of the rule which is assigned to the role, and that role is already associated with this user. This rule is working through role. To which user we assign general accounting manager role for all the users, the same sort of data access they can have. That's all about security role. So we have value as a 100. Now we'll create one more primary ledger for UAE to create ledger set by grouping USA and UAE primary ledger. So create one more primary ledger. Go to setup and maintenance. Search for primary ledger. So manage primary ledgers. Click on the same task. Click on plus icon. So ERP tree, UAE primary ledger. Now select chart of accounts. Select which name one more E is included. Select calendar. So we are selecting same calendar the chart of accounts, whatever we have in USA primary ledger. Select currency. So select accounting method. It's optional. We don't need accounting method. You can choose it. Nothing wrong. Say save and close. Set ledger options for UAE primary ledger. Go to specify ledger options. The ledger name is ERP3 UAE primary ledger. Set journal language as a American English and provide returned earnings account code combination. Find out existing code combination. That's fine. Say okay. Save and close. Now complete the ledger definition. The task name is review and submit accounting configuration. The same ledger, the UAE primary ledger in the selected scope. Click on the task. Click on submit. Yeah. So once the ledger definition is transferred to a space, system will update the ledger status as confirmed. So that is very standardized process. It happens automatically once you click on submit. Now we are ready with UAE primary ledger, and total we have two ledgers. By grouping those two ledgers, we are going to create the ledger set. Could be 2 or 3 or 4, doesn't matter. You can group if those ledgers has same calendar and the chart of accounts. If multiple ledgers have same calendar and chart of accounts, you can group. Now search for the task called as ledger set. The task name is manage ledger sets. So click on plus icon. Name it as ERP3 ledger set. Select calendar to chart of accounts for criteria purpose. Select chart of accounts. Select accounting calendar. Now with the same chart of accounts and calendar, how many ledgers are available in this environment that we can access from here? and we can group based on our requirement. So we have two ledgers available. The two we are going to group into ledger set. When we assign this ledger set to any user role, which ledger need to be defaulted? That you can set as a default ledger. If you don't set any default ledger, when we assign this ledger set to any user role, take example, if the user is going to create the journal, there is a field called as ledger. Apart from data access set, there is a field called as ledger. Within the field, system will not display any value. So we have to click on the drop down and we need to select. If you want to default any one of the ledger in that field, for the user who will get access to ledger set, that default ledger we have to set here. We are setting. So if any user will get access to this ledger set, in the ledger field, by default system should display US primary ledger. If required, the user can switch to UAE primary ledger. We are setting default ledger, but again it is not mandatory. You see here it's optional field. Say save and close. So once you create the ledger set, automatically system creates data access set against the ledger set. The moment you complete the primary ledger, automatically system can create data access set. The same is applicable for ledger set also. Now against the ledger set, whatever the data access set system is creating, that data access set we will assign to user roles, but always we treat it as a ledger set only. Say done. So we completed ledger set. And we'll go and review our primary ledger status which we created for UAE. Even the status is not confirmed, you can create the ledger set by selecting the same ledger. We'll go and confirm the same. The UAE primary ledger status is confirmed. Cool. So we created UAE primary ledger, we created ledger set. So which user need access to ledger set? Create that user. So reality for specific user only, we give access to ledger set. So create separate user to provision the access to ledger set. Users, click on add user account. ERP ledger set. For testing, assign one role. Choose as a general accounting manager. General accounting manager, select. Done. Set password. Save and close. Now assign ledger set to this user role. Go to setup and maintenance. The task name is data access for users. It could be any data. Task is same. It could be BU data, it could be primary ledger data, it could be corporate book, tax book. So any data task is saved. Okay. Click on the same task. Click on plus icon. So username is ERP LS ledger set. Select role. Security contest is data access set. The moment you create the ledger set, automatically system creates data access set against the ledger set. So select data access set. Select ERP tree ledger set. So save and close. Click on done. Now submit LDAP for synchronization. Select initial users under functional area. Click on the task. The task will trigger LDAP job. Submit. Say OK. Sometimes in the practice instances, the instances which you are using for testing, the ESS jobs may not work as you expect. The reason here, you will find many jobs are in the queue. As of now, only one. This process will be queued up for submission at position 1. Here sometimes you see 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 100 also. If that is the case, whenever you submit any job, it may be report related or normal update related, it takes too much time, so it doesn't work. If you come across such kind of experience, you change the instance, switch to other instance. That's how you can proceed with the practice. If you see multiple jobs are in the queue, so it takes too much time to reflect the jobs what you submit, means in the background the execution takes too much time. That's how it goes. Notice this point. Fine. Now we are going to open the periods in UAE primary ledger. Sign out. Connect to instance as a ledger set user. Go to general accounting and go to period close. Now this user got access to ledger set. Here is the ledger set. So because of the ledger set, this user will have access to 2 ledgers. The view by single ledger, you can see one by one. Here you can give view by ledger set. So directly you can see within the ledger set. So you can choose specific ledger set. If you select this ledger set, how many ledgers we have, and you can see each ledger period status for all the applications. For US primary ledger, already periods are open for GL application. Now we are going to open periods for UAE. If you don't open, when you create the journal, by accessing this ledger set, system will display only US primary ledger in the ledger field. Since the periods are not open, Even that is a part of ledger set, you cannot see the ledger name. That is the reason whatever the ledgers we have in the ledger set, you have to make sure periods are open. Then you can access when you are recording the transactions. Now just click on never open status. Say open first period. Refresh. Now go to actions. Click on open target period. Select current period. Say open. Say yes. Refresh. The current period status is open. Now, if you want to create journal, you want to create the journal. Since this user got access to ledger set, when you navigate to journal creation page, yes, you can see the same. This user got access to ledger set. That is nothing but data access set. And at the time of this ledger set definition, we selected one ledger as a default ledger. The same system is showing. In this ledger set, how many ledgers we have, those ledgers you can see from ledgers field. You can switch from one ledger to other ledger. Why we open UAE primary ledger periods? If you don't open, you don't see the UAE primary ledger in this field. Even that is part of ledger set. Now, if you want to record the transactions within this ledger, select. Accordingly, the currency is changed and you will be able to record the transactions. If you are not using the ledger set, so here you cannot change the ledger name. If you want to change the ledger name, say you have access to multiple ledgers. So from here, from this page itself, you have to change the ledger. If you have access to multiple ledgers, from here you have to change. Once you navigate to journal creation page, it will be pointing to specific ledger only. That is the reason you cannot change here. If you have access to ledger set, so within that ledger set, how many ledgers we have, you can keep switching from one to other ledger. You will be able to record the transactions. Even when you generate the reports also, ledger set you can use as a one of the parameter within the GL application. So apart from that, when we are going to create FRS reports, financial reporting studio reports, there we can see to specify the ledger set to generate the reports. When we create the reports through FRS, we'll come across that as one of the dimension within the FRS functionality. We'll see that. Just make a note. So that's all about ledger set concept. So we can group multiple ledgers so that across the ledgers you can generate the reports, you can open the periods, you can close the periods. So you can perform various activities which are applicable at entire ledger set level. Even you can set data access set definition at ledger set. Now go to data access set. We discussed how to create custom data access set. We go to data access set definition page. There we can check how it is applicable. go to task called as data access set. For data access sets, click on plus icon. Now, here I am going to select full ledger. When you say full ledger, it could be ledger or ledger set. The other value we have as a only primary balancing segment values. When you select full ledger, it could be ledger or ledger set. Now select the basic criteria, chart of accounts and calendar, so that with the same calendar and chart of accounts, how many ledgers or ledger sets are available that you can see here to define the data access set. Click on plus icon. Now select specific ledger or ledger set. Now the business requirement is for one specific user, we want to give ledger set access, but that should be read-only access. So by default, if you assign ledger set, that would be read and write. But business requirement is read-only access. Since we selected access set type as a full ledger, we don't have any option to select specific values. So earlier, what we did, we selected primary balance and segment value. Since we selected access set type as the BSV values, here we are able to change. We can uncheck and we can select specific values, and value level you can set privilege like read only or read and write. Since we are selecting the type as a full ledger, it could be ledger or ledger set. It would the same is applicable for all the balance and segment values. Now requirement is one user need access to entire ledger set, but read only access. Set read only. Now, if you assign this data access set to any user, within this ledger set, we have two ledgers related data that user can view, but no transaction can be recorded by using any one of the ledgers since privilege is read only. So that's how you can create data access set for specific ledger set also. So that is a story of ledger set. The next item. Just mark it. Yes, we completed ADFDI, FBDI, foreign currency journals, reverse or reversal journals, data access set, cross-validation rules, security rules. Just now we tested ledger set. Now we'll see the concept called as reporting ledger, or call it as reporting currency. From primary ledger, if you want to report the transactions in different currency, we use reporting ledger. So what are the transactions you are recording? Those transactions, if you want to report to any other country or other department, whatever it may be, as per the organization alignment, doesn't matter. The simple point, as per system, you can take from primary ledger. If you want to report each and every transaction in the different currency, we use reporting ledger concept that you can call as reporting currency also. But reality, that will become ledger. So to implement this solution, first we have to create the reporting ledger. The primary ledger transactions we want to report in which currency. By selecting that currency, we'll create the reporting ledger. So when you compare reporting ledger with primary ledger, everything we copy from primary, only currency would be different. Okay, only currency would be different. Since currency is going to be different, we have to maintain the rates, which we call as exchange rates or daily rates. And which user need access to this reporting ledger, we create the separate user. We assign the role to that user roles. We are going to provision the access to ledger set. Once you create journal and post the journal within the primary ledger, the journal will be transferred to reporting ledger. So when the journal information will be reported from primary to reporting ledger, the event is posting. When you post, it would be reported. If you create journal within the primary ledger, it won't reflect in the reporting ledger. Only the event is post. Create and post the journal, it will go to reporting ledger. That's how it works. Yep. So now we'll see what sequence of steps we have to follow to implement this solution. So create a reporting ledger. Our primary ledger we are maintaining in USD. Say we want to report in INR. So we are going to create reporting ledger in INR currency. And when you create reporting ledger in INR currency, just create daily rates. Okay, so create daily rates. And next, which user need access to this reporting ledger? As per this case, the user who is from India, that user need access to this reporting ledger. So create that user to replicate the reality. Say ERP RL reporting ledger. Don't use these short names for reality. Only primary ledger we call as PL. If it is a reporting ledger, we call it as a reporting ledger. Don't derive the short names like RL or LS ledger set. No, we don't use for reality. Here for our class purpose, I am taking those short names. You don't call those as a LS RL. People will ask you what is that. Okay, don't use those. Primary ledger you can say PL, but rest ledger set and reporting ledger or any other ledgers which we are going to come across, don't call with any short names. Fine. So we'll create user. So to the same user assign GL roles. Assign GL roles. To the same user roles, we are going to assign reporting ledger. So assign reporting ledger and open the periods in reporting ledger. Open periods in reporting ledger. So when you create the reporting ledger against specific primary ledger, system will copy same calendar and same chart of accounts. And only we have to select the currency. Here we don't need to talk about accounting method because we are reporting within the GL one by one journal. We are going to report journal level. Make a note. The reporting takes place transaction wise. Here when you say transaction, each journal will be reported the moment you post the journal. The journal you might have created within the GL through manual process. You might have imported from other sources. It could be third party or other Oracle applications. Doesn't matter. If you trigger posting, that would be reported to reporting ledger. That's how it works. So then we can create journal and post it. It is a mandatory post. The moment you post, that will be transferred to reporting ledger. From reporting ledger, we can review. Okay, the report, or simply you can say review journals, which are reported from primary ledger. That's all. So first we'll go create reporting ledger in reporting currency. INR currency we can call as reporting currency since we are going to report in INR. Here search for reporting currency. You don't find any task as a reporting ledger. We call it as a reporting ledger, but the task name Oracle is providing as a reporting currency. The task name is manage reporting currencies. And we are not going to create any reporting currency to report from UAE primary ledger. We want to report from USA primary ledger. So reporting ledger you want to create against which primary ledger, that select in the scope first. Click on the name and select from which primary ledger you want to report. You want to report from US primary ledger. Select and say save and close. So here is our primary ledger. Here you can create the reporting ledger. And anyway, I'm just closing to reopen. Now this is how it should be. The scope, make sure you are selecting the primary ledger from which primary you are going to report. Click on same task. Now system is taking it as a source ledger, means from here we are going to report. So click on plus icon, name it as ERP3 INR reporting ledger and select currency conversion level as journal. When you do the translation, we select balances. For now, just select journal. Each and every journal, the moment we post, that need to be reported to reporting ledger. If you are creating reporting ledger, it should be journal. And you are going to report in which currency? In INR, select the same. Okay. As in the ledger options, these all are defaulting, surrounding account. So this is all because of rapid implementation template what we used. And select default rate type as a corporate. Okay, done. And here you have journal conversion rules. Few points. So retain journal creator from source ledger, means in source ledger which user is creating the journal, display that name only in reporting ledger so that who are accessing the reporting ledger they can understand the journal is created by which user. Okay, you can set keep as yes so that it will be reflecting accordingly. And here so it is set to which is source and which category journals need to be reported from primary ledger, that you have an option. Other Journal source other means all sources. Journal category other means all categories need to be reported. Or else you can just add and you can specify only manual journals should go. It doesn't make sense, but just for our understanding, we are discussing only the journals what you create within the GL. Those are by default manual. So what category? Adjustment category journals only need to be reported from our primary ledger. Here you can set to no. Now the manual journals which are tagged with the category called as adjustment, only those will be reported. We have an option to set which source and category journals need to be reported to reporting ledger. Ideally, it would be all. This record you can remove. Other means all. So all sources, all categories. Keep as it is. Say save and close. So reporting ledger is ready. Reporting ledger is ready. Only we given the currency. The reporting ledger will use same chart of accounts and the same accounting calendar from source ledger. Source ledger is nothing but primary ledger. Now say save and close. Here we no need to go and set any ledger options. No need to complete because it's a copy of primary ledger definition. Only currency is different. So no additional steps we have to perform. Only one step, go and create, done. Now make sure the rates are available between our primary ledger and the reporting ledger currency. Yes, since it's a test environment, always you can see the rates. If you don't create, someone else will create. So always you can believe that rates are available in the test environments. Now we'll go and create the user. So who need access to reporting ledger? Create user and assign the same. Go to security console. Users. Click on add user account. Name is ERP RL. Assign the role. So general accounting manager role. Assign. Click on that. Set password. Save and close. The next task. Assign reporting ledger to user roles. The task name remains same. Data access for users. Data access for users. Simply you can type for users. Click on the same task. Click on plus icon. Select user. Select role. Select context as data access set. Same story applicable here. The moment you create reporting ledger, automatically system creates data access set. So we created reporting ledger, system creates data access set against reporting ledger. Select the same, select our reporting ledger name. Save and close. Click on done. And just trigger LDAP job. Say okay. And now we have to go and open the periods and reporting ledger. Just log out from this user. And from the reporting ledger user, open the periods. Task is period close. Yes, this user got access to reporting ledger. Open the periods. Say okay. Refresh. Go to actions. So open target period. Select current period. Say open. Okay, done. Now switch to our primary ledger user to create journal and post. So we can say we implemented reporting ledger functionality. Now how it works? How it works? Whatever the setups we are doing, that we can say we are implementing the solution. This is a ledger set solution. This is a security rule solution. The setups what we are doing, nothing but we are implementing the solution. So go to general accounting journals. So this user got access to ERP tree ledger. And click on create journal. If you see, you are able to find reporting ledger by default. Since reporting ledger is created against this primary ledger, even this user can have access to reporting ledger. We are reporting from this primary ledger. That is the reason by default, reporting ledger can be accessed by the user who got access to primary ledger. That is another point to notice. But anyway, we always create the transactions in primary ledger. ABC. Enter debit and credit line. You can proceed with any random account code combination. So we are in the primary ledger. Post. Against this primary ledger, we have a reporting ledger. If periods are not open in the reporting ledger, even we cannot post the journal in primary ledger also. So I have to make sure periods are open in the reporting ledger, then only you can post the journals within the primary ledger. Say okay, refresh, posted. So when you see posted here, it means system posted this journal in reporting ledger. If it is not posted in the reporting ledger, first of all, system will not post in the primary also. If there is some issue with the reporting ledger, this journal cannot be posted in the primary also. Now switch to reporting ledger user. Go to journals. Manage journals. So only one journal will be available here that we created in USD. But if you open, you can see it reported in INR as per reporting ledger. So this is entered. We entered in this currency, the primary ledger. And here, as per reporting ledger, it is INR currency. That is reason accounted in INR. As per this ledger, accounting is required in INR only. So what is the conversion rate we can see here, including inverse rate. So this is the journal we created. And here notice it posted automatically. Since it is posted in the primary ledger, so directly the ledger journal is posted in the reporting ledger. That's all about reporting ledger concept. Let's talk about secondary ledger. Let's talk about secondary ledger. Yes, even secondary ledger we can use to meet the reporting requirements. So from primary ledger, you need to report in different currency. Use reporting ledger. From primary ledger, you want to report in different chart of accounts. You need to report in different calendar. Currency can be same or different, doesn't matter. Only currency is different in terms of reporting requirements. We can use reporting ledger. Apart from currency, it could be chart of accounts or accounting method. Accounting method is not very much primary here. You can take like a chart of accounts or calendar. So even you can consider accounting method, but primarily it could be, or else simply you can say other than currency. If any C is different from primary ledger in terms of reporting requirements, we use secondary ledger. Only currency is different, use reporting ledger. Other than currency, if any other C is different to meet the reporting requirements, we use secondary ledger concept. Now, we have around 7 segments in the primary ledger. Say our reporting requirement is, we need to report only 2 segments data. We need to report only 2 segments data. So if that is a requirement, we need to create secondary ledger with the 2 segments. To create secondary ledger with the 2 segments, we need 2 segments chart of accounts. Create secondary ledger COA. Then we'll create secondary ledger. Create secondary ledger. So we'll create the secondary ledger. Secondary ledger we are going to create against the primary ledger. But calendar can be different, chart of account can be different, accounting method can be different. So that is the reason we have to set ledger options. Set ledger options. If primary ledger status is complete, the status will turn into complete. Here, since chart of accounts are going to be different between primary ledger and secondary ledger, we need to do the mapping. From primary, which segment data should go to secondary ledger COA, which segment? Means between the segments we have to do the mapping. So create COA mapping. Primary ledger COA with secondary ledger COA, we have to do the mapping. When you say COA mapping, exactly segment level mapping. We have to do the mapping. COA level mapping we have to do. And even we have to do the ledger level mapping also. That you can make a note as create primary ledger and secondary ledger mapping. So create primary and secondary ledger mapping. Once we complete, create user, the same story, 2-3 steps. Assign roles, assign secondary ledger to user roles, open periods in secondary ledger. Done. If your secondary ledger is going to maintain in the different currency from primary ledger, we need to set rates also. Daily rates we have to set up. Currency is different in the secondary ledger, set daily rates, otherwise not required. Then we'll create journal and post it. The same journal will be reported to secondary ledger as per report. The same ledger will be reported to secondary ledger as per secondary ledger chart of accounts. Review journal in secondary ledger as per secondary ledger chart of accounts, it will reflect. So this is how we can implement secondary ledger solution. So these are the setups we have to perform. How it works, you create journals and you post. Reality you don't create, You get the journals information from other applications. You trigger the posting process will trigger reporting to secondary ledger as per the secondary ledger chart of accounts. That's how it works. Now we'll create secondary ledger chart of accounts. Go to chart of accounts creation page. Go to setup and maintenance. So manage structures. Create new chart of account structure with the two segments for secondary ledger. Say ERP3 secondary FlexPay. Set delimiter, nothing but segment separator. Save. Click on plus icon to create the segments. So we want to create only two segments, balancing and natural account. So we are going to assign the same value set. Assign primary balancing segment label. Save and close. Account. Prompt is same. You can take short prompt also same, or else you can make it very short. Column name segment 2. Select value set where we have all the accounts. Assign natural account segment label to account segment. Save and close. Click on done. So we don't have any traffic in this instance as of now. Otherwise, we cannot create in one go. So go to manage structure instances to create structure against the to create the instance against the structure. You can name it as ERP3 secondary flex select structure. So just mark these two segments as a required. Save and close. Click on done. deploy the accounting flex field. It takes some time. So we'll take break and we'll proceed. Okay, it's deployed. Now the chart of accounts ready. So quickly we'll execute these tasks. Or else we'll see tomorrow. It's already 9 o'clock. Maybe late for a few guys, right? Okay, just these are the setups. We are ready with the secondary ledger. Tomorrow session will complete these setups and we'll do the test. So we're done for today. Any questions from anyone, please? Any questions, please? You can unmute and raise your questions. Looks no questions. Yeah. So any other questions from anyone, please? No questions. So that's all for today. We'll catch up tomorrow same time. Thank you all.